When I first saw Justo, I remember him having a shiny head, but it seems like this beef with him and Chronic has made him grow hair. Listen to these few clips because they're still going at each other like after like a week or so, and it's getting to its climax, or it kind of has died down at this point.
I knew you was not going to pull up in my bits. I gave you another place to pull up. You didn't even pull up there, so I went to your bits. Still, you was nowhere to be seen. What are we talking about here? You drew me out, I came outside to play.
No. That's not what happened, bro. How can I scrap if you don't even... Let me not. You broken. How am I still breathing? This is mad. Now you're still talking to me about scrapping. But they're talking about seeing everyone except me. But I gave you my postcode. Now you're trying to look for someone else's postcode like I didn't give you mine. Why are you going to my mum's or my sister or my brother or my cousin or my mate or... What do you mean? Why am I even talking to you? Like, what do you know? Didn't I go to Lincoln that day? Ain't that the bit that everyone's trying to twang?
If delusion was a drug, then I'm telling you, Justo would have taken it, because this whole rant that he's going on with talking about RTM till this day, and I mean, even their latest show is about RTM. It's just funny at this point, because Young Spray is refusing to even mention the situation and just makes a light-hearted joke out of the whole situation, backing the fact that Ming the Merciless has been back from war, and he's won it, but he hasn't won it, but due to doing anything good. He's won it by default because Justo has been tricked out of his position and made to look like silly, because we all know what we're going to get from Chronic, but what we don't know is what we was going to get from Justo. And this could have been a time when he decided, to make himself look like the bigger person, but all he's done is stoop down to Chronic's level and made it seem to be that, he might be a Chronic in the making. And I know this might sound far-fetched, but after you see these clips, you'll understand exactly why this situation is the way I'm saying it. Now, obviously, we're going to start off with RTM, because Young Spray is just not happy about the situation, and it's made him have a change of heart, and it's really really has got to him, and I'm being serious, because it's annoyed him the way Ming the Merciless has been treated online, and these people who want to go against him have been on the show before, and Young Spray is annoyed because he feels like he's given these people a platform, and rightly so.
We can't do this. Do you get what I'm saying? Because at the same time, he's not a dickhead, like Chronic ain't a dickhead. Like, so when people are online chatting shit about, oh, why Chronic let his Spray chat to him like that, or why Pinky let his Spray, I feel it for them, why for that? But I'm saying I don't like that either. Do you get what I'm saying? But at the same time, it is what it is. Do you get what I'm saying? It is what it is. But do that. Go and do that. Do you get what I'm saying?
I didn't get the vibe that Pinky was trying to take over,
A lot of people will find out. A lot of people will find out in the end, aka peoples that tried to do their own podcast, is dead. It's not happening. Now you realise your best bet is being a co-host. That's why you're with Pounds and that being their co-host. Like, you've turned back into a co-host. Do you get what I'm trying to say? What happened there? Like, you've gone to be what are you taking up for Doug's? Because Doug's sick. Like, now you're going to be a co-host. So really, you're a co-host. So you was in your right position. You got tricked out of your right position.
Yeah.
You're a co-host. Like, I wish everyone the best. Like, because at the end of the day, same thing what I was saying with Pinks. Like, at the end of the day, look.
He's one shit.
Man showed you something, or you came around something where you're able to do something legit, legal, to try and, like, alhamdulillah, if you can, do, like, by all means. I wish you well, I wish it does well, but just know where it started, like, let's stop everyone going mad in their brains, innit?
The thing is, with Spray, it's kind of weird, because I didn't expect him to be, so heart to heart with the show at this point, because at the end of the day, I feel like Pinky has done so much to him, or to the show, should I say, in, brand damaging, that I would expect a more brass Young Spray. But Young Spray has turned around and just said, you know what, at the end of the day, I'm not going to let you back on my show at any point. But the point being is, I hope you do well in the future. I've given you this opportunity to do something legal with yourself, an opportunity you never had before, and given you clout. And now you have gone along and you can do whatever you want to do. I'm not going to be jealous of this situation. But just remember, at the end of the day, RTM gave you this platform, and it's so rightfully true. But as you can see already, like, there has been no mention of Justo, and Justo, like I said, has a delusion sort of, I don't know what you want to call it, but at the end of the day, like, he has this idea that, Young Spray talks about him all the time, and now this might be subliminals and stuff like that. I can't, go through all the RTM episodes to pick out bits which Justo has been spoken about. But I would have felt that, like, if he was doing this whole thing talking about Young Spray's talks about him, it would have been good to have some clips of this. But at the end of the day, Young Spray is literally refusing to mention this whole situation. And even when Ming the Merciless comes in, he's greeted in such a way from Young Spray, because this is one of his war dogs who have just come back and, has managed to survive, even though they're trying to get him out of there. And because he's jumping on the back of the bus, hopping over barriers, it's taking, Chronic a bit of time. And he, like usual, he's always bloody late.
Big up, Run. You let them get to you. Naka, you're looking show. Just hurry up, man. Stop all that, blood. Forget all of that, blood. I'm seeing what's going on. Forget all of that, blood. Forget all of that. Yeah, forget all. Yeah, let's not do all of that. Like he's pulling up and doing all of this shit. Like, if you ever saw his face, like, the man's looking at me like he's ready to shoot me. Rock on, Ming. Hour late again, as usual. But you don't know, it's all governed. You need to stop just bringing in everyone. Like, I need to keep bringing people that I know, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? Like I know if she goes mad, she's going to go mad. But cool, you're going to go mad. Do you get what I'm saying? But I know you're mad.
You know what to expect.
No, but I just know you're mad. Do you get what I'm saying? And I know.
I'm not that mad, am I?
No, but I'm just knowing it's still all love. It's still all love,
Yeah,
though.
it's still, yeah.
Do you get that?
Yeah.
Like, there's
But
people, then it's not
did
all
you know
love.
the other girls that you had on the show then?
No, but I'm
You
saying
had-
there's people, they just, and it goes mad, and then it's not really love, then is it? Do you get what I'm trying to say? See, for a little misunderstanding, yeah? See, sometimes God will make like a little misunderstanding, God will reveal how people truly feel about you. That you wouldn't even know that. But it's just a little misunderstanding, and then people just go mad.
Now, as you can see, Young Spray is not interested in mentioning Justo, but what he does do is say, there's maybe a misunderstanding, and, Young Spray isn't talking about them, he's talking about gigs all the time. So, if you think there's any shots, it's probably at gigs and you're just not interpreting it right. But at the end of the day, it's just one of those situations where Justo has literally heard, and felt that Young Spray is literally, getting at him, because he acts like as if, say, Young Spray's annoyed at him. But at the end of the day, like I said before, the biggest podcast on there, or the biggest views, is Young Spray's podcast. So no matter how they try to push this narrative of, yeah, they governed him or whatever, they needed Spray more than Spray needed them. So anyway, let's get into Justo's apology, because honestly, it's not even an apology. It's quite pathetic what he's done, because he's just apologizing for basically nothing. And what is the point of apologizing if you're not even sorry? Like, watch this clip for me.
I apologize for my behavior, for how I move.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? But there's a reason why I had to move the way I move.
Who you apologizing to?
I'm apologizing to myself. I'm apologizing to my co-host. Yeah. I'm apologizing to my co-host.
Yeah.
Someone's up there.
Yeah. I'm apologizing to anybody right now that see me on a bad light. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I don't really care who sees me at a bad light. Do you get what I'm saying? But I'm apologizing still.
Now, like I said to you guys before, I don't understand when guys apologize and then they say, like, they're not sorry for their actions, but they're apologizing. It just literally makes no sense. And, like, the co-hosts are just sitting there lapping it up and acting as if, say, Justo is doing something by saying this. Now, clearly Justo is a bit bitter about the situation, and he realizes he's been tricked out of his position to made to look like a fool on the internet, and it's really hurting him. And he can't get over the fact that he just can't get his hands on Chronic, and Chronic is like an internet troll, which he hasn't realized at this point. But he is very annoyed, and it's this whole podcast that they decided to do, or the episode they decided to do, which is all based on Chronic. And as I've said, RTM hardly even mentions them and doesn't even give them any clout whatsoever. Which brings me to my next clip, because Justo is he just can't stand the fact that people are trying to say that he's lost in some way. And just watch this clip with me.
Everybody keeps turning around and saying, man is the one that started this situation, or man's provoked the situation, or man's been calling Spray's name or RTM's name.
We haven't though. They've been calling us, bro.
All right. So this is why I want to take it back. This whole situation stems from when a man came to a man's podcast and how a man governed him, how a man handled him.
Yeah.
He's pissed off because of that. Ever since then, if you go and watch him and see all the rounds that he did, he was always talking about man. So now, just because you lot choose not to see what this little is doing, you lot expect me to sit back when he's disrespecting other people. It's
Yeah.
okay for you lot.
100%.
It's okay for you lot to say, yeah, oh, he's being this, oh, like, wait. You don't want people like Pound to respond, or you want other people to respond and everything, yeah? But I'm different.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit down and let somebody try to belittle, man, and think that it's okay. Nah, bro. You're not gonna bully me, bro. Like, no one bullies me, bro.
Can't happen.
So now, I just played the game on his level. He mentioned me, I came. You know what I'm saying? I dealt with the situation. You feel what I'm trying to say? Boom. It's not my fault a bunch of people came on the panel, yeah, and disrespecting your co-host.
Real talk.
It became surviving RTM. I'm sorry that it hit so hard.
The way Justo talks about governing Young Spray, I'm starting to believe that, the session turned off them cameras and actually begged Young Spray to stay. Because why he keeps talking about the situation like Young Spray actually cares while having a bigger podcast, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Now, when you look at the other things that he's actually stated, it's another, sign of just actual delusion. He's talking about the fact that RTM speak about him and they do the rounds. And I've really never heard Young Spray mention Justo. Maybe subliminals and stuff like that. And they say it in a way which the session might read it as theirs because they're such fans of the RTM that they sit there and decipher all the different stuff. But you're probably misinterpreting it for something he's saying about gigs, because Young Spray only really wants to beef gigs at this point. But what Justo also tries to do is fool us into believing that this was some good deed he was trying to do, when we all know that he just hates Young Spray and hates the position that Young Spray's in, and is just really jealous of Young Spray. So he's decided to make this hate campaign against RTM to hopefully get out there and at the same time make the session bigger. But this hasn't worked out at all, because the numbers are really still bad, even from this apology video, in comparison to when Young Spray puts out his podcast, which is going to be like 4 hours on average, which I am not going to sit there and watch. But the point being, he still gets the viewership, whereas the session doesn't do that. So this obviously has created a lot of animosity and envy and jealousy, which Justo just can't control.
That's online every single day. Talks about the same stupid old thing. Moaning about chicks all the time, bro. What are we talking about, bro?
Joke, man.
Every day, to a point. Yeah, let me show you to a point where I had to turn around and play the game on him and say, oh, yo. I don't even know. Chronic. Man, apologize. Chill out. You carried on and carried on and carried on, attacking whoever the females are on the panel, or attacking the other, trying to attack us. Yeah. Then you run back to your little boyfriend, telling him, "Oh, you know what they're doing? They're talking about us. They're talking about us. They're doing this and they're doing that." Then they carried on. Then your boyfriend comes back and mentions me again. When he mentions me again, what do? I put my foot on his neck all over again. Why is it everybody wants to get onto me but when I'm attacking people? Because I'm the aggressor.
Yeah, that's how.
Because I've got zero tolerance. Now I'm just playing them at their game. I'm giving them what they want.
100%.
You see what I'm saying? And I don't.
Like, this is the thing, with Justo. He just can't contain himself. And even when I'm looking at his co-host, I really think he's just, putting his arms around himself to, contain himself from absolutely busting up or laughing. Because honestly, this is just a rant about Justo, just talking about Chronic for basically a whole hour. And, his co-host doesn't even say anything, but, yeah, you're right. And he absolutely just sits there like a mushroom, saying absolutely nothing and not even having an argument or saying anything negative towards Justo. It's just Justo getting this off his chest like therapy, where, Chronic hasn't even said anything about this on RTM because, this is a TikTok beef and you're bringing it to YouTube, for the clout and views. And the thing is, because, Young Spray didn't want to give Justo any of his time and just let Chronic do the work. That's all that Justo can seem to talk about. And I think that even annoys him, that he can't have anything on Young Spray, but has to talk about Chronic, who is an old man who sits there and argues with, 18-year-olds and 17-year-olds online and women. So, and this is a guy who done a DV tune. Like, why would you even want to put yourself down to his level? Like, come on, like, do I need anything more explained than this? But look at this clip here, and Justo is just really annoyed, and you can see that this situation has got to him, and it's making him lose sleep, or I don't even know at this point if he's even sleeping.
You have arguments on the internet for how many years of your life?
Yeah.
You tell people to send them your postcode, or you send postcodes to them. You don't show up. This is why I was turning around and saying to you, Forget all of that. Forget all that internet gangster shit. You're an internet gangster. I knew you was not going to pull up in my bits. I gave you another place to pull up. You didn't even pull up there. So I went to your bits. Still, you was nowhere to be seen. What are we talking about here? You are two different people, bro.
You
Don't
hear
put
that?
yourself in the same as me, bro. For real, bro.
You hear that, Chronic?
I don't need to be here. I don't need to do sessions. We don't need to be doing sessions. We don't.
The thing is, what we've got to take into consideration in this situation is that, you know, these guys are just really annoyed at the facts. And Justo keeps saying about the fact that he's bigger than Chronic, but literally went down to his level. So this is why he's having this issue, because people are now looking at him thinking, are you actually on the same level as Chronic? And now these guys try to use this excuse and say, oh, yeah, we don't need to do the session and all this sorts of stuff. But then why are you doing it? Because no one really cares. And at the same time, people are watching now this episode, which you're apologizing to RTM and then making it seem like RTM, you don't talk about them, but RTM refused to even consider talking about you because they knew that it would, you know, bring some traction to your channel. And you know, Young Spray isn't trying to do that for you guys. Now the next clip I'm going to show you is going to be, you know, Justo talking about the fact about the Sainsbury stuff and this trans thing that, you know, Chronic said to him, because Chronic is really good at cussing, and these cusses really, you know, must have kept Justo, you know, awake at night, because he just can't stand the fact that Chronic has basically called him a Sainsbury's worker, which, you know, he is, and there is no problem with that. And I don't understand why Justo needs to make such a hard thing of it, but it clearly does annoy him that, you know, Chronic has this thing over him calling him a Sainsbury's worker.
It's an embarrassment for you to try diss a man and say you're a Sainsbury's guy. You've been on the road for all your life and you still have nothing
but
to
what's
show.
wrong with having a job,
No,
though?
but hold on. But listen, guys, kids right now that are working in Sainsbury's are doing better than you. Somebody in Texo, I can't even say it. Tesco right now is doing better than you.
But is this is the last time that you're gonna speak about
But
it?
we're not talking about this guy no more.
Yeah, man.
Like, we're not addressing. We're not even in this frequency no more. We're taking ourselves out of this frequency.
Yeah, man.
Man, keep talking about
So leave it
podcast. We're not on the podcast
alone.
thing, bro.
Don't ask him.
What did he just say? Like, we're not on the podcast thing? Like, what are you doing right now? You're on a podcast. Let's carry on anyway.
Don't be in the comments.
Man talking about. Wait, what did man say? Man said what? We want to know why. Yeah, you're on the show with a trans. We need you to explain that. Oh, you got a friend named Darren. I'd rather be Darren's friend because you know why? I wouldn't be your friend. Let me show you why I wouldn't be your friend.
Yo,
You can't be saying to me, you can't be talking to me about trans, yeah, or Robocops, or Transformers when you've got this going on.
Lavo. Yeah. Lavo. Can I put up the video? You put the dildo up your ass.
So yeah, I think it's quite late in the video, so it should be fine. But as you heard, you know, Chronic has been doing extracurricular activities and allowing girls to do stuff with his rectum. And this is something that, you know, Justo decided to bring his information instead of, you know, bringing forward the clips of Young Spray talking about him, which would have been much more beneficial to his case and, you know, would have stopped us from calling him a hater. But at this point, there's nothing to prove to me that Justo, Fat Mac, and you know what, I don't even know who the other co-host is, but he seems quite chilled and I don't really hear him say anything, and he seems to just be, you know, like another Funky D situation. But besides that, I feel like, if I'm being honest, this has really affected Justo. Justo knows that he's been tricked out of his position, and he is trying everything he can to make Chronic look worse than he can. But Trillery has already done that, so it's going to be very difficult for you to make him look much lower than he actually is. Now, the thing is, these lot keep repeating about the fact, do not address the situation, but have decided to make a whole video and label it with Chronic's name in it, whereas RTM didn't even give Justo, Fat Mac, or the other guy sitting down that I have no idea who he is, any acknowledgement whatsoever, which shows that Young Spray already knows that if he speaks about it, he's giving them clout. And the session also know if they speak about it, they're getting clout, which, you know, they decided to do.
I beg you lot, yeah.
What are we saying?
Do not address the situation
Again.
Again.
Nah, man.
Do not even bring this situation to me again.
Again.
Yeah.
Whatever a man already said, he said it.
It's cool.
We are not friends. We were never friends.
And we're Niki.
What's funny, you know, about this whole situation is that, you know, Fat Mac just sits behind, sorry, Big Mac, I don't know what his name is, I always forget, but point being, he always sits behind the camera talking the most. And even in the Young Spray thing, it's like he was talking so much, yeah, and getting very aggressive with Young Spray and saying that Young Spray is disrespecting him. And it's just so weird that he's got this persona that no one really sees him online, but has the most conversation. It's just, mind boggling to me. And, with Justo, he apparently watches a lot of videos, so he sees different things. And he's decided that he's going to like mention Bionic Steve for some weird reason. Like, and he says, yeah, I've invited him to my podcast. But Bionic Steve just doesn't want to mess with you. Bionic Steve doesn't want to leave his house. That's absolutely up to him. And Bionic Steve just talks how Bionic Steve wants to talk. And if people watch it, they watch it. And I don't think it's meant to be in malice. Unlike Tiny, who you regularly associate with, who cusses the whole industry and tries to get onto everybody. So it's just weird that you're calling out Bionic, but you won't call out Tiny. And I would rather have Bionic Steve in my comments or, talking to me than I would have Tiny, because Tiny is just a snitch.
Bionic, bruv, you're like Chronic. Get a life and come out of your house. Stop staying in that box. I offered you to come to the session and sit down, yeah? You only know that part of the area. You keep talking this road talk. Oh, man send his ID out. Man send his postcode out. If you was a road man, you would know. If you understood the strategy I was playing, then you would know. Clearly, you're not.
Now, guys, I'm being honest with you. This whole strategy that Justo is talking about is absolutely nonsense. And if Bionic Steve called it out, then, there's a reason he called it out. Because why would you guys send postcodes on social media and act like, oh, well, this was some big plan? Like, bro, we all know if anything went left between either of you, you would both be implicated in the crime, because it was just so vocal, it was everywhere. And easily, this wouldn't even deserve a Traplow Ross documentary, because it would be so easy to pinpoint what had happened and who done what. Like, it would have just been basic knowledge. This is why Chronic probably never showed up, because he's a troll. He's taking the mic. He's probably scared as well. But point being is that, nothing could have really happened except for a punch up. And you know what? You lot might as well go on Misfits and, do that and get paid for it. Now, guys, I'm done with this whole thing. So I hope you liked it. Share, subscribe, and I shall see you on the next one.